the biggest thing I've gotten from doing this podcast, making relationships with people I do the podcast with, spending a lot of money to be in masterminds, is I tell people every day now I'm surrounded by people that show me that things I used to think were impossible are possible every day. And it really just this morning I went to jujitsu. My buddy was like, man, like I'm playing here, but you're playing here. You're doing so much more than me. I go, dude, in my circles, I'm the worst guy in the room. Like it's all relative, but when your circles start to change, you surround yourself with on a daily basis. I feel like the people in your life and circles over 5 or 10 years, I imagine, have all changed for you. So how is the surrounding yourself with the right people to help you level up, giving you the confidence or the supports that you needed to really go big? Because you got real big, dude. You've come a very long way since carting around the boxes on a college campus.
I think I was very lucky in one area, in that my father built me up. He gave me confidence. He made me feel like I could do anything. There are so many talented potential entrepreneurs who don't have that. They have a dysfunctional family. They have friends around who act like crabs in a bucket that don't actually want to see them win. And it's unfortunately virtually impossible for those folks to overcome that, because it drives that insecurity that we were just talking about. I was lucky enough to have an irrationally confident father who rubbed that right off on me, to where I had this degree of almost inflated perception of my own ability. I had confidence, right? I also had the humility and rational. There's that perfect balance, right, between the irrational confidence and the humility. But he built me up and made me feel like I could accomplish anything. And that was absolutely, it's the most important thing in my life. So if you're surrounded by a bunch of people who don't really want to see you win, who are jealous, who are maybe losing themselves, and that makes them feel worse if you start to win, you got to change the crowd up. But yeah, it's difficult because folks are very, very, very thoughtful about how they spend their money, but they're not thoughtful about how they spend their time and who they surround themselves with. So having a thoughtful approach to that and realizing that, hey, there's a lot of people in this world that don't want to see you win, that are crabs in a bucket, and you got to find a way to distance yourselves from them. That's a very hard part.
It's really good advice, though, man. Like cutting the negativity out of your life is such a big piece, and it really resonated with me at the beginning of this year when I read Sahil Bloom's book, and he really went into that concept of time, and you realize the amount of time you have, and it's like, well, why do I want to spend this time around people that I don't really want to do anything with? And part of my new 2025 goal is keep doing the stuff I'm doing, just doing with people that I like. You know, it changes things drastically. And
people, like if your neighbor walked up and knocked on your door and asked you for $100 to go to the pub to spend on beer, well, like most people would say, no, you're crazy. I'm not going to give you that money. But if your neighbor walks up and knocks on your door and talks your ear off about things that you don't care about for 30 minutes, and your hourly rate is $200 an hour, that's the same. Like your time, you just gave him $100 out of your wallet. Now, there's a little bit of an extreme to that. Like, am I saying to act like you're better than everybody? No, of course not. But people need to be very thoughtful about how they spend their time and who they spend their time with, because it's the only resource that you can't get more of. Honestly, it is more important to me than money, because I get the same 24 hours in a day, and I'm going to pass away someday, and I'm getting older, and my kids are getting older. This time is what I can't get back. So reframing that has been very, very critical for me.